taxes, you know how much worry and anxiety that brings. Whenever you have prior years to do, it seems like you just can't quite get caught up, can't find the time, and not really sure where to start. Well, today we're going to talk all about that, so you're definitely in the right place.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cigar and Taxes. Your host here, Layton Smith, with the beautiful Stacey Smith.
Hi.
We're both IRS enrolled agents. We're partners of Smith Financial, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Waterbury, Connecticut, 2 locations. And we are here today to talk to you about, how to file taxes for prior years.
How to file taxes for your prior years.
Oddly enough, this has been one of the bigger questions that came in. So, we have a little survey that we sent out, and just the questions that you might want answered. And how to file taxes for prior years it's one of the top 3.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's really odd. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Either way, you requested, so now you have an episode. So, you're here with Layton and Stacey. We are at the Somerpoint Cigar Lounge. We're going to talk to you about how to file your taxes from prior years and make that process a little less daunting, a little less scary. We're doing this in our natural environment. After work, we're in the lounge. We're having a cigar. We're having a beverage. And then we get somebody walk up to us and say, what do you do? I haven't filed taxes in like 8 years. And it's like, really? You haven't filed your returns in 8 years? Yes. Then we jump from there. We just poured them a glass. So we're going to get started with this episode. Oh, let's talk about what we're smoking and drinking real quick. I am smoking, this is a Room 101 Doomsayer. Never had this before.
Oh.
First couple puffs are interesting. It's a medium body.
Okay.
I'm not one of those, huh?
I'm just lighting up, so continue.
It's a medium body. I'm not one of those, cigar smokers into the taste and all that. My palate is not that discerning. So, I'm not going to say that, I have notes of apricot and notes of dried cherry. This damn thing is very tobacco-y. Now, not that that's a bad thing. But every pull is like, tobacco.
Hey.
That's what I taste. Tobacco.
You can't smoke your favorite thing every time.
I didn't say this is not my favorite. I'm just saying that, I'm not into flavor profiles.
Okay.
But this is one of those moments where it's like, tobacco. Anyway, all right, so I'm smoking a Room 101 Doomsayer. Stacey's over there with her.
It's a very small Rocky Patel. Yes. I grabbed this from your stash, so.
That was not in my stash.
See, you forgot about it.
Okay. It was one of your cigars. And Stacey is combining that with a margarita, I'm assuming?
Yes. That's my margarita today.
And I have some. This is Balbini, triple cast, 12 year.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
We're going to get into this.
All right.
How to file taxes for prior years.
All right. I'm going to give just a quick synopsis.
All right. Stop. Here's the whole episode, guys. Mm-hmm. All right, Stacey. You want it?
Okay. All right. So let me get my notes, make sure I don't forget anything.
Oh, the notes. Yes.
Well, this is important because when we're going over this with a client that's in front of us and whatnot, we run down everything that's relevant for that person.
True.
And a lot of times there's things that we skip and don't go into full detail with. So my notes help me make sure that I hit everything since I don't know who is going to be listening. And I want to make sure you get everything.
And the funny thing is, we're sitting in a damn cigar lounge and she pulls out notes. So while she pulls out notes.
For reference. Okay.
So while she pulls out notes, I get another glass.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're yin and yang. So there you go. So basically, what we're going to be talking about today is, one, why it's so important that you keep up to date with filing your taxes. That's super, super important. There's a lot of reasons for that. Also, we're going to go over what you need to do in terms of gathering your documents. That's that's one of the first steps that you're going to need to do. And we find that oftentimes that can be one of the things that's challenging when it's been multiple years. And then how you go about submitting the return. What if it's past the time that they accept e-file for that? How do you go about that? So there's a few things. And then also what to expect after you end up filing these returns, how that works. Okay, so we're going to hop right in.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, let's just jump. I won't even add nothing to the synopsis. You did well with that. I'm going to leave that alone.
You have the floor. Are you sure? No. Okay.
I think the most important thing with the synopsis is the folks, they do not have their documentations. They got 6, 7 years. They got odd number of 1099s, odd number of 1098s. They have even year 1098s, odd year 1099s. They're missing W-2s.
Yeah.
They believe somebody issued them a K-1. That's where things get a bit messy. Normally, if we're dealing with 4, 5, 6 years, and I don't want to jump here, but I'm going to jump just a little bit and we'll come back. But just to throw this out, a lot of times, Stacey just went through, we try to gather the information, which is not us gathering information. It's the client gathering those documents and presenting them to us. If we believe that there's information missing, most times what we'll do is we'll take a power of attorney. We'll Form 2848 or POA. Once we have the power of attorney for tax matters, then we can pull transcripts and we can see everything that was actually given to that client on those missing years. But I jumped a little bit there.
Yeah.
But that's normally where I go to in the beginning. As soon as we know we got 6 or 8 years, like, all right, we're going to need a power of attorney with these. Unless it's a basic return. It's just W-2s in a house. Then if we know there's nothing else, we don't worry about the POA.
Right.
All right.
I'm
getting the side eye now because I jumped. All right, we're going to go.
It's okay. Well, the thing is, when a client comes in and they're presenting to us that they have all these years to do, then yes, we would take the power of attorney. In many cases, we suggest that just to make sure that you don't forget anything. Now I'm jumping with you. If you were doing this on your own, there are some you can certainly reach out to the IRS on your own and get that information. Sometimes we're used to reading transcripts. So put it that way.
That's it. Yeah, rate, wage, and income transcripts.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
back on schedule
we're
here.
Back on track now.
All right.
Okay. So and I'm not going to belabor, I think most people have an idea of why it's important to file legal compliance. You want to make sure that the IRS wants you to file for any year that you've made money. They want to make sure that there was an appropriate amount of taxes given to them for the particular year. So you want to do that. And secondly, avoiding penalties. If you have a balance due and you don't file, that's additional penalties on top of whatever your balance due is.
Non-filing penalties, non-payment penalties.
Yes.
Possible estimated tax penalties.
Possible estimated tax penalties. Yes. So you want to avoid penalties. We're all about avoiding penalties. So that
can't get right penalties.
I don't think that's an official one. That's not an official one, but okay. But you want to be able to access tax credits. Can't do it if you don't file. Okay, there's certain things out there. If different kinds of credits that are out there, and with electric vehicle credit, it's great that it's there. And if you bought a vehicle, but you got to file to get it, Yeah.
You don't normally have those individuals. So
they'll be late. They'll be late.
But normally, if you have the folks with the electric vehicles, they're filing their return. You get the folks, they didn't put
the solar
$40,000 solar panels on it.
Yeah.
They're filing. Normally, what we see is somebody had a return put together back in 2017, said they owed $30,000, and they're like, oh, snap, I'm going to file that later on in the year once I get some more funds together so I can file and pay it at the same time. And then that 4 months they want to wait to file turns into 4 years. And now they have 17 they owe for, maybe 18. But now you hit your issues. Because let's say they have a refund in 19, a refund in 20.
Yeah.
And now we're jumping into the next section you was going to hit, which is claiming the refunds. You haven't filed for those years you owed. So now we have potential penalties there, non-filing, non-payment. But then you have the years that you had a refund. And you only have so many years to
claim a refund. That's it. And did we not see so much of that during COVID? All the credits that were out there, it was like it was Christmas raining credits.
Oh my God, you had these folks that never filed.
Well, we haven't seen them in 10 years.
All of a sudden, they're up here trying to get that COVID tax return in.
Hey, I heard this. I heard I could get this.
But I got to file a tax return.
Yes.
In order to get this, whatever that thing was called, whatever that credit was called.
There was a couple of them. There was, the child tax credit was increased back then.
I was just thinking about that COVID credit.
And
for the individual, certain income.
Yeah.
And they got however much that was. We have folks that they ain't filing 9-10 years and they trying to file a return now so they can get that credit.
That was something. That I think you're talking about the PPP money. Which credit are you talking about?
There wasn't credit. That was just, I'm going to have to pull it up now.
Okay. There was so many. I feel like
it was a credit that was just there, but it was an income-based one.
Okay.
And, we had folks that did not file, but they jumped back in.
But there was so many. There was a lot of little things, and then there were bigger things. So
yeah, they were mailing checks out to folks.
Yeah.
They were mailing.
The rebate you're talking about. The stimulus rebate.
That's
the rebate, I had someone file with me a few months ago that said, can I still get that? I didn't file from back then. Can I still get that? I'm like, wow.
The answer was yes.
I think
you filed. The answer was yes. You filed a return. If they did not receive the stimulus check, then it would be included in the refund.
I said I will include it. If there is a question, they will send you a letter.
You know, it was so bad. I can tell you how you know you're getting old. I'm sitting here and I'm like, the COVID credit. And for whatever reason, it's not sitting here like the stimulus checks that were mailed out. Depending on your income and the bracket you're in, you qualify for the stimulus checks.
And it depended on which one, because it was 3 different ones. And then it was, if your income or your dependents changed, it was quite something.
It was a mess. It was okay. So let's be honest with that. That stimulus check thing was a mess because we had people coming in the office saying, "I need to file. I didn't get my stimulus check." So they said, if I file a return, then I'll get the stimulus and the refund. Like, yes, that is true. And then we go and we file these returns, and they're getting all these letters, these change, the CP-2280, the change in refund because they're like, we did send you that stimulus check.
Right.
And they'll turn around and they'll go, I didn't get it. I said, okay, well, we can put in there that you didn't receive it. They will cancel the checks, reissue it. I don't think one of those were real. Yeah. I think in every case, everybody got the stimulus check, but they thought they had more coming. It was nightmarish.
It was a nightmare.
And we just
it was quite something, that whole thing.
Yeah, we decided in the office how we want to deal with the stimulus check is, did you receive it, yes or no? No. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. You just had $800 per person added to your refund. There you go. This is between you and the IRS. We're out of it. You're saying you didn't receive it. We're putting on here you didn't receive it. They say something different.
Yes.
That's between you and them.
Yes. And in their summary paperwork, it was indicated this portion of your refund is from whatever.
From the stimulus. I forgot you added that.
Oh, yeah.
You did add that to the letters.
I wanted
Stacey
to make sure.
documents everything.
I really try, because it's important that we're all on the same page.
Yes. She said, all you people sitting around here lying, I won't be dealing with this.
Look, to be fair, whatever credits or deductions are out there, we want you to take advantage of them.
This is true.
That's it.
It's yours.
Money, it should be in your pocket. Absolutely. And we want to help you get it. But if you got it already, you got it already. That's it. So.
As Stacey said, we're not dealing with that foolishness. All right. Back on topic.
Back on topic. Okay. So I think we actually went through all of these just in that little discussion.
Yeah, no. You have what, like excess in tax credits? Well, yeah, of course, you have to have that.
The last one that I didn't say is peace of mind. So
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
So you're sitting here and you're not worried anymore about all those years you did.
Are they
not
gonna
file.
come get me and all of that? So you definitely want to go ahead and if you're behind, no better time than the present to get started on that. All right.
Yeah.
So,
And I might be jumping again, but one of the other items is, if you do owe, the IRS can file the return for you.
that's true.
SFRs. And, they will just include all of your income. There won't be any credits or any deductions. They don't know.
Possibly no dependents.
No,
You have
it's just your return. Just
Yes.
with that and your wages and your other income. They will file the return and send you the bill. So now, at the same time, when they do that, it's not like you have to amend it. You just must file the return. Okay?
And that's the whole purpose of them doing that, I think,
Yeah.
is they haven't gotten a response from you. And from their records, it looks like you might owe them some money. So this is their way to push you by sending you this letter to just scare the hell out of you and really alarm you and push you and inspire you to go ahead and file your taxes.
Yeah, they're just sending you a letter saying you owe $30,000. Okay. And then all of a sudden, this becomes priority number one for you.
Yes,
That's it.
that's it.
I don't owe
That's
30
it.
grand.
The
Okay.
thing is, but the unfortunate thing is, though, we do see people who they get that SFR filed, that substitute for return filed, and they don't act on it. And now, when they actually come to us, I've had a few where their wages are being garnished based on that ridiculous number.
Is crazy.
It is. It is.
Oh, God.
I'm like, what? What took you so long? I said, they like
So,
you.
to understand, with the
IRS
SFR,
really
I
like
don't
you
believe
right
there's a
now.
time frame on the SFR. You could always just file the return.
Yeah.
And the actual return will replace the SFR.
Exactly.
And, so you got your $30,000 bill because they did it. You actually file your return and your bill get adjusted. You owe $6,000. You don't owe $30,000.
Right.
There you go.
I think the gentleman told me he said, well, it just seemed like a lot to pull that stuff together. And, I think he had gone through a divorce and it just seemed like a lot. And I think his wife previously had done the returns. And he's like, oh, well, they said they were going to do it, so I'm going to just let that go. Not realizing what that means when they do it, that there's nothing.
Well, everybody wasn't born with common sense. So, you start right there. But you do feel bad. Listen,
Yeah.
I feel bad for the gentleman. If I had a violin right now, I would honestly put down my cigar. My cigar is not in my hand for the guys that's listening, folks listening. I'm playing a violin right now. Got divorced. You had to move out the house. You went and you got you a one-bedroom apartment to restart. You got an 80-inch screen and a bean bag. You restart. But the IRS says you owe $30,000 for the last 3 years. Each year, you owe like $90,000. You need to file those returns.
You do
okay?
need to
You
file
need to
those
file those returns. All right? And just
I mean, literally, all
push
jokes
past.
aside, this is a significant priority for you. Mm-hmm. You want to go ahead and take care of it. Okay. So now that we've said that, what's step one? You do need to gather your documents. So that's W-2s, that's 1099s,
it's at 98s.
1098,
K1s.
K1s, anything like that. If you are self-employed or for any of those prior years you had self-employed income, you may need your bank statements, credit card statements.
That's not even you may. You're going to need your bank statements. You're going to need the credit. You have to generate your revenue, generate all of your expenditures.
Right.
To go from your gross income to your net income.
If they have other bookkeeping that's been done, which is an if,
An if. So
and they can produce a profit and loss, there have been a handful that can.
So we are a bit biased here because I believe most of the folks that we see when they come in the office and they got like 6 years, and let's say they have a business and they have rental properties, there is no accounting system.
They usually have some. They have some.
Bank statements.
So what I see is for the ones that do have some records, it's usually for the ones that have some records, it's usually all the expenses, but they got to look at the income and kind of figure that out, or it's the other way around. You know, so they have, and it might be because there's a mechanism for them to receive their income that's already where they can produce a report.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Basically, we need to get the profit and loss in the balance sheet from those jokers.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there. Now, if they don't have it, we recreate it for all of those years.
It needs to be recreated. So whether, you know, whether you come to us or you go to someone else, they're going to need that information to do that. Okay. Now, I did want to mention, and we talked about it briefly earlier. So what if you don't have you don't have these things close by? First off, your bank is always going to be able to give you a copy of your bank statements from prior years. Even if you don't have an account with them anymore, they should still be able to, to get that for you. You should ask for it, definitely. Same thing with your credit cards.
Yeah, just a side note. We have had folks come in recently.
Yes.
And they've had multiple years, they were being audited for prior years.
Yes.
But it went back 7-8 years. And we had a very, very difficult time getting bank statements past 5 years.
Further back, yes. That's true.
That has been not one bank, but a few.
Yeah.
And, that's something I haven't seen in the past. In the past, we request statements from the banks. They might give us the first 5 years, maybe 6. They can go to the branch and get those or the email. And then the older years would be mailed to them.
Right.
But in this year, 2024, I have had 3 banks tell 3 different clients that their records past 5 years have been purged. And it is like, okay.
All right.
So we're going to have to get this one way or the other. We need to talk to the revenue officer at the IRS and have them subpoena the records. We have to get it. But we have had issues with that. So just as a side note, you have more than 5 years. One of the big things is you need to keep those old records.
Yeah.
Those bank statements, you need to scan them in. You need to download them, have them saved somewhere.
Somewhere safe. Yeah.
Yes, so that we can recreate, or your accountant can recreate your records, your financial statements.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that's primarily for the self-employed individuals. Okay. You can get some records from the IRS, not bank statements and credit cards.
No.
But the other items, you can request a wage and income transcript from the IRS. You can do that online. At one point, can you do it on the phone now too? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. We normally do it online, or suggest that our clients go online to retrieve that. Those. If you have somebody working with you that's a power of attorney, again, we usually take power of attorney if somebody has, several years to do, then we can go on the IRS website and download your and retrieve those documents.
It's been a long time since we went on the IRS website and download records. So we have software. We have software that we use that just put the information in and we pull everything.
How quickly it needs to be done. So if I get a power of attorney signed on Monday and we really need to turn things around by Wednesday, Thursday, then I will call in. I will call in and they will put it in my mailbox with the IRS, and I can retrieve them.
So I am very fortunate because I have very lovely, helpful, beautiful folks like this one here. Whereas we get somebody running the office and they got Layton deliveries, all that just happened in a revenue office. Like, we got 3 days. And I just get the POA signed and I turn it over to these wonderful, efficient folks here. And pull all those transcripts.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I called the IRS and asked for transcripts. Probably like 6-7 years ago or something.
Oh, my gosh. Has it been that
A long time.
Oh, so I guess that is on my plate then. Yeah, I definitely do that. Okay.
All right. Where we at?
So, and the other thing is obtaining the transcripts from the IRS is ideal, even if you think even if you believe that you have everything, is more than 2 years ago, it can't hurt to check to make sure. Because the last thing that you want to do is think, I got these 3 W-2s, I'm filing, I finally get it out the way, and you get a lovely letter from the IRS saying, hey, looks like you may have forgotten something. And they'll send you that wonderful CP 2000 letter and say that you forgot some income. So
it is. We just did an episode on that, didn't we? I know we were hitting those the CP letters.
The amended return.
Amended return, yeah.
Yes, we were talking about that.
So, you can cross-reference that episode with this one.
Yes, there's a little bit of that. But we won't be talking about that. We have so many topics that we need to cover. Today is just the one. So
Just the one.
Just the one. All right. So I'm in the. So I want to talk about the filing process.
Okay.
Next. Okay. So, all right. So let me first start by saying that when you're filing, you ideally you would want to file electronically when possible. That only is allowed for the previous 3. So the current year plus the previous 2 years, which means that if you have returns that you need to file that go back further than that, you are going to need to mail them. All right. That doesn't mean that you can't still use software to do it, or that's if you're trying to do this on your own.
Also, if you're working with a revenue agent or a revenue officer, you can you can give them the returns. They will forward them for processing, so you don't have to mail them in.
True.
Now, I
want to confirm that they're going to do that,
yes,
because sometimes they don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had that issue where we handed over returns to a revenue officer, and those things still never got processed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think she said, "Oh, well, that was for my reference. You still need to forward that to the service center."
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing is, we got 3 years so we can file electronically.
Correct.
There are certain states, like I was Georgia, and I was talking to a revenue officer there, and she said it was for 19. This year, 19. That's 4 or 5 years ago. And I just said, we can only file for the last 3 years. And she said, no, you can still file for Georgia for those previous years. And that just messed my head. I was like, really? How? But Georgia has like a portal online for their taxpayers. I believe you go in there and you can file that way. Yeah, we don't do all that. That's just
it's
ridiculous.
It's worth noting, though.
I emailed the returns to her.
Okay.
She forwarded them for processing.
That's good, but that brings up another point, though, that the states federally is what I was referencing with the 3 years that you can e-file or file electronically. The states vary,
yes,
quite a bit in what they will accept via e-file
But I will say most of them fall in love with the Fed. So
now.
And you also got to understand, you got to take consideration who you're talking to. Most of our clients are like from Rhode Island to like Virginia. And then we got all the transplants in Florida, people that move from PA, New York, New Jersey, California, some Texas.
Yeah.
But we don't have much in the Midwest.
No, we don't.
So we're not as familiar with those. And I guess we don't have many. Well, I guess we have clients in Georgia, Atlanta, but we haven't had to file previous years. So this is the one time I heard from Georgia that you can file those returns electronically.
Right.
But the point I was making is you also have to understand who you're talking to. We deal with these states primarily on the East Coast.
Right.
And most of them, it's 3 years you can file electronically. They fall in line with the feds.
They do.
Now, we're going to get some smart aleck, one of our friends who are accountant CPA, going to go, well, no, North Dakota, you can file for 20 years back. And I was like, yeah, we weren't even talking about that state, dude. So.
Well, and as we always say, you really should check with a tax professional when you're going through anything like this. It's not, do you need a tax professional to file multiple years of returns? No, you can do the mechanics on your own. Will you get the best result? I would strongly suggest that you seek out assistance with this.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's a basic return, let's just say you got yourself a 28-year-old. They got one W-2. They haven't filed since they got out of college when they were 22.
Yes.
I mean, come on. You don't own a house. You have no kids. You just got a W-2.
Assuming you can follow the directions to fill out what you need to, sure, go ahead.
Okay.
The other thing is this: a lot of times when you're that age, actually, it's not everybody, but you might be missing out on some refunds. So definitely give it a shot.
No.
But if you run into an issue, as opposed to just putting it down, saying, I'm going to get to it later, and then wait another 3 years, reach out to someone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I will say, with that age range, we have a 25, 24, 23-year-old. We have one child that's in medical school, one who's about to be a CPA, and one who's an environmental scientist, and we still do their returns.
Well, that's because it's easier for them.
No, I just think it's that age group. Something wrong with them.
Actually, Layton Jr. has done the two kids' returns. He's done their returns the last couple of years.
LJ's been doing the kids' returns?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yes.
He is about to be a CPA, so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So anyway.
He's worth something.
All right.
He's over there, guys. You can't see him. Cutie pie.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm jumping around here in my little list here. Okay. Paper filing versus e-filing. I think we did that.
I think that's it. You finished that particular segment. I mean,
yeah, I think so.
The big thing is this: once you file your return, whether it's electronically or you mail it in, if you file electronically, get your confirmations.
Yes.
You can have that.
Yeah.
Okay. After you file electronically, check in with the service center in about 10 to 15 days. Make sure that they're being processed. There's no issues. You're compliant, and wait for the letters coming back about whatever your refund might be or your liability. You can either set up a payment plan or just make those payments.
Sure. If you're mailing them, I strongly
Certified.
recommend having it certified.
Certified mail. Definitely.
That way you can track it. You can see when it actually arrives, and if there's an issue that comes up saying that they didn't receive it, you have some sort of confirmation.
And just on that, and, I know we keep going on tangents here, but one of the things that has irked my soul is we have mailed items to the IRS and to the states, different states, and we'll check in a week. We'll give the certified number to the revenue agent and say it was mailed in, and wind up having to fax them a copy because when we go back with snail mail, U.S. Postal Service, and we put the little number in online, and it just shows that it's still in transit, like 3 weeks later. I don't even get that.
I don't get it either.
It makes no sense.
Is so. Bottom line,
it has been happening. This is not no once or twice.
No, I know.
This is it's enough times this year and last year to make me go, what the whole hell, But we've mailed it, and then we'll put in the number to check the postage, and it'll just say it's in transit.
It's in
3 weeks later.
Yes. So if you can avoid e-filing.
No,
excuse me, if you can avoid mailing, please do so at all costs. Now, obviously, we just said it's only those three, the most recent 3 years. Prior years, you're out of luck. You got to mail them. But the best thing that you can do is use certified mail so that you can track it. And give you some sense of security.
You have some proof that you're attempting to be compliant.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So the next thing would be if you
after filing, what happens?
Filing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at, is what happens after you file. You already mentioned the confirmation, making sure that...
you have your e-file confirmation or you have your certified number.
Exactly. Yeah. It's taking 6 to 8 weeks or longer for processing times of prior year returns.
Paper, right?
Yes. Mailed in.
Mailed in. The electronic filing, even if you do the last 3 years, it's normally...
It's a good time frame.
About 2 to 4
weeks.
Yeah, they'll be processed.
Yep.
All of them.
Yeah. And that's what your refund time should kind of float close to that too. Direct deposit obviously is going to be faster than if you put down for them to mail you a check, because that's just another step. And we already talked about how the mail goes. Okay. If you owe taxes from the prior year, you really want to be prepared to pay whatever that is, or get on an installment agreement. Okay. If it's an amount that you're not able to pay, you should talk to someone about an installment agreement. Typically, as long as you're in compliance, meaning all the tax years, all the tax returns that you should have filed are now filed, you should be eligible for an installment agreement. If you instead didn't file one of those years, or maybe it was a document that you're waiting on that's holding that 1 year up, you won't be able to get on an installment agreement until everything is in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So try to keep that in mind and push for that.
And you're not going to be able to file returns where you have refunds. Wait to get your refunds, but hold on to the years that you owe.
Yeah, that's not going to work. That's just not going to work.
Yeah, no.
Okay. There are other options. People talk often about the Fresh Start program or Fresh Start initiative.
Yes.
That really is just referencing things like the partial pay installment agreement, currently not collectible status, and offering compromise. The
Fresh Start initiative is just an installment arrangement in and of itself.
Okay.
That's it. You have to owe less than $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
You must be in compliance. All of your returns are filed, and you get 60 to 72 months to pay that off. That's the Fresh Start. So every time you hear one of those odd little radio ads, the IRS is now offering the Fresh Start initiative. I mean, it's
they have lots of plans now to help taxpayers who owe taxes. These are the items that they're talking about.
The Fresh Start initiative is not new. It's been around since the beginning of time, but every year.
But they gave it a nice name that makes people feel like, oh, I have options, which you do.
Yes.
You know.
But the Fresh Start initiative is less than $50,000 that you owe, and you're compliant. All of your years are filed.
Yes.
And then you can break it up in 60 to 72 months. Mm-hmm. And now, if you cannot pay off this debt in 60 to 72 months, now you jump into the other areas of partial pay, installment arrangement. You know, are you currently unemployed? So now you're like C&C, currently not collectible. Or you're just giving them financials, the 433A and B, which shows your revenue, all of your normal household expenses, what's given, whatever is left, that amount can become the installment rate. There's different options. We did a show on that, episode on that already, right?
Yes.
Or is that
actually, that's coming up.
Okay, we didn't do that.
Yeah, yes.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
You'll get one. You'll get an episode just on your options with all the installment arrangements.
So many of these topics that we talk about have areas where we could expound a bit more, where we kind of need to. So, there's going to be lots of offshoots, different shows where we'll be able to go into more detail.
We're trying to break this up because this stuff, tax topics, normally boring. Okay, so we try to mix that with some cigars and some drinks, and we just hit one topic.
Yeah.
Now, just on something real important topic that kind of missed a little bit. This cigar has actually gotten a little bit better over time.
Has it gotten better now?
It really has. I got to the middle.
About it a second ago.
Yeah, all tobacco. I got to the middle of this Room 101 Doomsayer, and it honestly, it's mellowed out.
It's out a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pleasant. That's the best way to describe it.
Well,
now it's not like a My Father 1922, which was one of my favorite cigars, by the way. But it is not as tobacco-y.
Now it's not as tobacco-y?
No. I think I'm feeling notes of dried banana and apricots and stuff like that.
Oh God! Here we go. All right.
All right. Let's go in this guy.
Yeah, let's go ahead and finish.
You got special situations, right?
Yeah, special situations, which is just that it's more mentioning that you should really talk to a tax professional when you have multiple years, and particularly if you are self-employed with multiple years or rental property. If your return is a little more complex than just the one W-2, two W-2s, something like that, it makes sense to talk to someone who sees this kind of thing on a more regular basis and can advise you and guide you.
True. So on a side note, okay, you guys got to remember we're in a cigar lounge, so all the little weird sounds you hear in the background. we in the VIP lounge, but we got people running around downstairs. But on a side note, for the people that are watching, so for the people that are just listening, this cigar has actually gotten pretty good. It has a really, really good creamy smoke to it. So you're just listening on the podcast, so you can't see this. I'm so sorry, but just believe me, it's really creamy. But for everybody watching, hold on. You see that? Oh, that is a wonderful smoke right there. And it tastes very pleasant. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm done. I have my moment.
Not just say that a minute ago.
I know. But the stick got good.
Clearly.
All right.
Okay. All right. So I think we're all done for today. So key takeaways for today. If you have multiple years to file, let's get on that. Make that a priority. It's really important that you do that as soon as you can. A couple things. You want to make sure that you're gathering your documents. We talked about the different things that you would need, including W-2s, 1099s, 1098s, K1s, bank statements,
interest statements, dividend, your broker statements, all of that. Yes.
Well, right, exactly, and
contributions.
There's so many things.
Kids.
If you have
your kids. Your daycare. Yeah,
the thing we actually have an extensive list that we give to our clients that has all this.
I think we're going to provide that, right? We're going to provide that as a tag on to this episode, just the most common items.
We can certainly provide a link to it. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All right.
That would probably be easier than because not everything is relevant to everyone.
That's true.
So in any case, you want to gather your documents. If you're self-employed, you want to make sure you have your bank statements and credit card statements in addition to the above. If you can't find your documents, think about going on the IRS website to get the wage and income transcripts. That will help you out. The one thing with that, and I may not have mentioned that before, is that only gives you federal information.
Right. We did forget that.
If you have to use that, then that only gives you the ability to file your federal returns.
You won't have any of your wage deductions for the states. You have to go back and you have to get that from the different. Some states provide that.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we got to go back to the entities, get copies of the W-2s.
The original W-2s. Yes. So collecting your documents, that covers that. Filing your documents, preferably want to go for e-filing as of when available, so for the last 3 years. And if you have to mail, definitely mail certified. And lastly, after filing, make sure that you pay whatever you owe. Refund times and processing times, typically 4 to 6 weeks for e-filed returns. It's going to be longer if it's mailed. They say 6 to 8 weeks. It could be longer. It's very difficult to anticipate when it's mailed. So 6 to 8 weeks. I wouldn't be counting on it. Let it be a pleasant surprise whenever it's done.
That's right.
All right. And as always, definitely consult with your tax professional that you are used to dealing with, or find someone new. But don't just take our word for it. And this is not meant to be a substitute for an actual meeting with a tax advisor that's going over your specific situation. You definitely need to have that kind of feedback and input.
Yes, as always, we are in a cigar lounge having an actually good stick. So whenever you have a new cigar that you're smoking that you never tried before, you always mix it with a drink that you know is perfect. So Balvenie 12, perfect. It will make whatever stick a little bit better. This was actually a decent stick.
And see, I was wondering if that was why all of a sudden it got better.
Oh,
I
because
didn't
of the
say
Balvenie?
that, but since you mentioned it,
I'm going to have to talk with these Room 101 people. But all that being said and done, all the information that's provided is for entertainment purposes. It is actual tax advice, but you should seek counsel from your tax advisor, your CPA, your EA, your tax attorney, financial planner.
Particularly if it's a complex return. If it's a more complex return with more documents than just a couple.
That's it. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like it, please hit the subscribe button. There's going to be more content, more episodes coming in the next couple weeks. About a dozen or so episodes going to be uploaded. And we look forward to having more time with you. And the next episode.
Your feedback.
Yes,
and your feedback. And share.
info@cigarsandtaxes.com. That's our email. If you have questions or you have suggestions for episodes, please send us an email to info@cigarsandtaxes. We will respond to that. We will get the episode listed. We'll respond to you and let you know what month it might be played in. So we'll do that. But outside of that, thank you for joining us today.
Yep.
Catch one of the next episode or watch one of our old ones. But when you do so, grab your drink, something brown, preferably. You can also do the margarita.
Yeah, they don't have
Grab a cigar, sit down in your yard, and let's have a little conversation. Thanks, guys.
Take care now.
Okay.